If you were born after the 80s, you might not understand a lot of stuff in this video, because I'm going to tell you about 10 things I sure do miss about the 80s. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you on this Saturday. And I thought we'd just have a little fun today. I didn't do a lot of research. I didn't talk about Star Wars figures. I've talked about Star Wars figures all week. So I kind of like to change up things here to here, do things a little different. And this is going to be more of a laid back, just a little bit. Have some fun, I guess. I wrote down 10 things that I missed in the 80s, or maybe you could say I missed in my childhood. Maybe this applies to you growing up in the 90s. I'm not really sure, because a lot of this stuff, if it was around the 90s or the 2000s, I forgot all about it. But I know some of it didn't. Now, I know most of my viewers grew up around the 80s, so they probably remember some of these. I don't think you remember all of them, but hey, who knows? Maybe we shared a lot. So who knows? Maybe we had a lot in common. So let's talk about 10 things I really miss about my childhood, or you could say missed about the 80s. Let's start with number 10. Let's go over here where I'm at. This is really in no kind of order. And let's talk about number 10, and that's I miss doing nothing and loving it. You know what I'm talking about? On a Saturday, I wouldn't have school. I wouldn't have anything planned. And about 9, 10 o'clock, maybe later, depends if I want to sleep in and watch some cartoons, I could get on my bicycle. And we had woods behind my house. I would ride my bicycle over there. I had a friend that lived probably, well, by car, it was probably 10 minutes away. If I knew how to get there pretty fast on my bicycle, nobody could find me. Wasn't no cell phones, wasn't no GPS trackers, anything like that. I would get up 10 o'clock, parents would probably be asleep or not even home. I would head out for the day and nobody would see me again until the street light came on. At least that was the rule. Try to get home by the time the street light came on. You don't want to be riding around the bicycle in the dark. But sometimes you couldn't make it, especially around the times where the time changes and screwed everything up. So I tried to be home by, 8 or 9 o'clock, which was kind of late for me. At least it seemed like it was as a kid. But you didn't do nothing. You could hang out even by yourself all day, riding your bicycle through the woods, ride it to a friend's house, and you couldn't call your friend first to see if he was home. I guess you could find a payphone and call his house, but it wasn't like a cell phone like it is today. You would just ride around on your bike and run into your other friends that are out just riding around also. And you had no care in the world, nothing at all. You didn't have any bills to pay. You didn't have to make any videos. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to check your Twitter, didn't have to check your Facebook, didn't have to take your kid down to get his teeth pulled. Nothing like that at all. You just had fun. And boy, it was fun. Let's see, what do we got as number 9? Now this one might be a little bit odd. I miss TV Guide. Well, not really TV Guide. But every year they would do a TV guide, show all the new shows coming out for that year, for the new season. And I don't know why I love this TV guide episode. It was always real thick, and it would highlight all the network shows coming out. And I remember going through this magazine, this TV guide every year, looking at the pictures of all the new shows, reading about them, which ones are coming back. But it was mostly new shows. I can remember straight in my head seeing the first picture of Alf. I was like, what is this? Alf? I mean, that seemed like it was tailor-made for me. A little sitcom about an alien. Had to watch that. I remember flipping it through and it would talk about some of the shows already that's been out, like Family Ties. What's going to happen this season on Family Ties? Flipping through that magazine or TV Guide. I guess the TV Guide is a magazine, isn't it? But I love that. And I used to have a collection of TV guides. Can you believe it? My grandma used to buy TV guides every week, and I would always want to keep them. I don't know why. Up until about 95, I had probably a huge stack of 80s TV guides. And then around 85, I threw them all away. But it'd be kind of fun to look at one now, flip through it, see what was on TV, what time of TV it came on, and all that. And that was something else. So what else do we have here? Store catalogs. This is one you probably heard me talk about many of times. Store catalogs. Store catalogs. I'm talking about those catalogs like Sears catalog, or they call them wish books. I never really called them wish books until years later. Sears, JCPenney's, Wilson had one. Does anybody remember Wilson's? I never heard anybody talk about Wilson's. We had a store here called Keys Catalog Showroom. My brother used to always get mad that I would say Keys Catalog Showroom. That's what a commercial would say. And I can't find anything on the internet about Keys. It must have been a local department store. But I remember it, Keys. Yes, I remember a store called Keys. And let's see, there was Service Merchandise had one. You remember I think Service Merchandise bought Wilson's, and they kind of merged into one. But I love this. You would usually get them around October or sometime right leading up to Christmas. I remember I would start with watches. Watches would always be in the front, and I was obsessed with buying watches. Every year I had to get a new watch going back to school. I had the calculator watch. I had the Pac-Man watch. I had watches with 6 or 7 hands on it. I had watches with stopwatches. You had to have a watch with a stopwatch back then. If you didn't, you were just a fool. So you go through the watches, and then you skip over all the sports stuff because it remind you of Grady Miller and how much he loved to play baseball and football and stuff. So you skip over all that. Then you get to the cool bicycles, right? The bicycles you could dream have, the ones with the mag wheels. Remember when they put mag wheels on bicycles? At least that's what we called them. I don't know if that's technically what they were called, but they were plastic frames for the wheels instead of the spokes. It was cool. It was cool. I remember my friend had one. I never did get one like that. It was all plastic on the inside. Very cool. But you flip through it, then you get to the toy section, right? You remember that? The toy section? First, it usually starts with the girl toys. Yeah, they had girl toys and boy toys separate. You know, crazy times back in the 80s. But you flip through and you go, come on. Try to go real fast right here. Something you have to lick your finger. You know, like that. Get a little, do that. Get a little fast right there. And then you get over to the first thing, like it'd be like toy trains and models and stuff. Okay, hurry. Then you find the action figures. There's a whole page of Star Wars action figures. And on the next page, He-Man action figures. You flip the page, all over here is G.I. Joe. And then all over here is Thundercats. And you flip the page, and it's Police Academy toys, or Rambo toys, all kinds of stuff. It was great. And you take a dang marker, and you circle each one you wanted, the ones you wanted. Put a big X if you knew you didn't want it at all. Give it to your parents or your grandparents or whoever at Christmas time and say, here, I circled everything I want for Christmas. Great times. Great times. Let's see, what are we up to now? Number 7, another one I talked about plenty of times. We did a whole video story about this too. The arcade. Wasn't the arcade great? Whew. Now I'm talking about the real arcade. In the 90s, now a lot of people are going to tell you home video games killed the arcade. But I'm going to tell you right now what killed the arcade. At least my experience to the arcade. And it wasn't home video games. It was that damn dance game that came out. Remember that? In the 90s, kids would be lined up to play this game where you would dance to music. Hated that dance game. And it seemed like it brought a whole new crowd of people in the arcade. And before you knew it, the arcade games were disappearing. It was get more dance room. Had to have big spaces for the dance machines. But we're talking the arcade in the 80s when you had Dragon's Lair, you had Tron, you had, of course, Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man, Galaga, Frogger. You had all the classics. What else do you have? Yeah, Space Invaders and one of the original classics. How can you forget that? The Star Wars arcade. I mean, you had all kinds of games that were very, very cool. Man, and the arcade, your mom or dad would go to the mall, drop you off, you run into Aladdin's castle or something like that, and you could spend all day there. Take your $10, throw them into tokens. Each game would cost one token, 25 cents. Not like today, or I guess they don't even have arcades today, but it seems like started in the 90s and 2000 when you could find an arcade, they were, $2 to play a game. $2? No, 1 coin, 1 game. That's all you needed. And you could spend all day, hours and hours at the arcade. Whew. It was a lot of fun. It was. Now see what number we're up to now. Let's see, we talked about it. Okay, number 6, the Scholastic Book Fair. Remember this when you have book fair at school? Now, I love the book fair too. They would put it in the library. You go in there and look at all these books you can buy and everything. Hopefully your mom gave you some money to spend, or your dad or whoever gave you some money to spend. But what I like best is, I'm not sure if it came out the same time around the book fair, but there was 2 different ones. There was a Scholastic one called Arrow. And then there was another one, I think, called Troll. But I don't think it was done by Scholastic. These was little pieces of paper. It was like a little catalog, but it was only probably 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 at the most. And it would have all the books you could get. And you would look through it and mark the ones you want. Go home, show you, hey, I want this. I'm going to read this. I promise I'm going to read it. When you know you ain't going to read that book when you get it. You're going to open it up and look at the picture. And then you throw it behind your dresser and never see it again. But I love this catalog. In fact, I'm going to put some up on the screen now so you know what I'm talking about. Look at these. I mean, look at that. There's Dune right there. Look at these. I'll look through these all the time and pick out the books I wanted. Man, it was a great time to pick out books, that's for sure. Now here's one. Let's talk about some food. Yeah, I like food. Let's talk about a food that I really wish I could buy today. And people's told me that you could make it or find it, but it's called something else. But it's not the same. It's not. I've tried all that. And I'm talking about gator gum. Now, I know I look like some kind of sports nut over here, but I'm not. I don't really drink Gatorade because I don't do anything sporty. But I have had Gatorade. But you could always find me with a box of Gator gum in my pocket. That's right. It was made by the Gatorade company. Had a weird, I can't even describe it, taste. I guess it was like a Gatorade taste. It was kind of soury, and I didn't really last long, the flavor. I mean, it lasted longer than that. What's that? Fruit Stripes. You ever ate Fruit Stripes? Take 3 bites of it, and it tastes like cardboard after that. Anyway, Gatorade gum. Gator gum. Man, I would give anything to get an original pack of Gator gum right now. Gator gum. Yum, yum, yum. Now let's talk about something I hate, something that happened to me in the 80s, and I hope it never happens to me again. That's when you were out all day riding your bicycle, and your foot would slip off the pedal, and that metal pedal with those teeth on the edges would hit into your leg. Remember that? Right on that bone on your leg. You know what I'm talking about? Chin bone. You know that pedal? Why did they make it like that? It was all jagged on the end like teeth, and your foot would sling off. That thing would spin around and pop you around the leg every time. Ooh, did it hurt? I remember one time I was out in front of Amy Covey's house, and I was riding on my bicycle trying to look cool, trying to pop wheelies and everything, and jump the sidewalk and everything, and I stopped, slammed on brakes, came into a slide. I was going, hey, what's up, Amy? My foot came off that pedal swung around, and then I'm like, I gotta go. Gotta go. Trying to look like a big wuss, like it hurt, like I didn't know anything happened. I'll see you at school tomorrow. And then as soon as I got around the corner, screamed and cried like a girl. God, I hated that pedal. Couldn't they make it plastic or something? Not put those ridges on it? Okay, what number am I up to now? Number 4. I don't know if anybody was going to remember this one. This was the iffy I was going to put on the list, because I would be really surprised if you do remember this. We all know bubblegum machines, right? You put a quarter in, 50 cent in, 10 cents. I remember a penny bubblegum machine. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the chicken machine. It was a big bubblegum machine, and you put your money in, and right in the center have a chicken that spin around. And he would say, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle. Play some it played music, I think. I think it played music with the chicken sound. I don't think it played Old MacDonald Had a Farm. It was like a chicken sound. And they had to have a chicken, or a rooster maybe. I think it was a chicken. And it would spin around. I'm going to look and see if I find a picture of it. Be very surprised if I do. Anyway, it would spin around and it would come out an egg. And you wouldn't know what was in that egg. It was a plastic egg. What is a real egg? You thought it was a real egg? No, a plastic egg. And you open it up and it had a little toy that was worth a lot less than what you just paid for. But you didn't care. You got to see the chicken dance. It made a lot of sound, so everybody at the store turned and looked at you. That's right. All the Kmart shoppers turned and looked at you. It was great. I love the chicken machine. And I remember my local Zare store took out the chicken machine and put in a Fred Flintstone machine. Yeah, it was the same concept as the chicken machine, same size, did the same thing, but it was Fred Flintstone that spun around, and he said, yabba dabba doo, and you get an egg out, still an egg. Should have been a rock, wouldn't have been better. And open it up, and a prize not worth anything. So let's see what here. We're at number what? Number 3. I don't know if I'm going to miss this, but it's just something I just know I'll probably never, ever do again, and it's hooking up this thing. Anybody remember this thing? I know some of you nerds out there are going to leave in the comments section and tell me what that thing's called. I always called it that thing. I still call it that thing, and even back in the 80s I called it that thing when I wanted to hook up my Atari or my Nintendo. I'd say, hey, where's that thing? And my brother would say, what thing? That thing on the back of the TV to hook up the Atari with. Oh, that thing's in the drawer. Well, thank you. And I never had a screwdriver. You're supposed to tighten it in the back with a screwdriver. Not me. Always put it on with a butter knife or my fingernail. Never got it really tight. If you didn't get it really tight, you see a lot of static when you're trying to play combat. Anybody remember this thing? You kids out there, you people born in the 90s, I'm sure you don't know about that. Let's see what else we got here. Number 2, we're going to go back to some food that I love to eat it again. Please tell me they're going to make it again. Please, I've seen this kind of candy that has the same stuff in it, but it's not the same. And forgive me, maybe it's not it's the late 80s. I was thinking maybe it's the 90s, but it's the late 80s. What am I going to talk about? The best candy there is? No, not bar none. No. Why didn't I put bar none on the list? This is going to be the top 11 list. Bar none. That's a good one. Anybody remember bar none? But here's another candy I really love because I'm a peanut butter fan. And I'm talking about PB Max. Peanut butter to the max. That's right. Does anybody remember Peanut Butter Max? Look at that. Oh, yummy, yummy. Get in my tummy. Give me some PB Max. That's all I need. Just Who cares about a pizza? Just give me a big old PB Max about the size of a pizza, a fork, and a knife. I'll go to town on a PB Max. So what else we're going to talk about? One more. Oh, okay. I was going to do a whole video on these, but I haven't really found a good way to do it, so I'll just work it into here, and then maybe if you guys are like, I remember that, talk more about it, I'll do a whole video on it. But I remember sitting at school in the library reading those orange classic monster books. You know what I'm talking about? I think every school library in the 80s had them. They were orange. At least the bind was orange, the back was orange, and on the front it was classic movie monsters like Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Invisible Man. I remember the King Kong one. There was a King Kong one. There was a Godzilla one. Remember that one? Please, oh, Dracula. I know there was a Dracula one. I know I read that Dracula one 100 times. Well, looked at the pictures of it. I didn't ever read a book at all. Just looked at the pictures. Does anybody remember these orange books? These monster books? Whew. That's awesome, man. Anyway, my battery on my camera is about to die because I didn't charge it last night. So we're going to end the video now. I went through all 10 without the battery dying. So I'm proud of myself. As always, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button so, you know, YouTube knows you like my content. And I know you like my content. And in the comments below, tell me about some stuff you missed from your childhood. It doesn't have to be the 80s, but fun if it is. And tell me, did you read those monster books? Did anything on my list do you remember liking as a kid? Let me know. Okay, Fred, take us out of here.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.